Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I am your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest knitter in the West, the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas, and today we're in studio with the Cannonball King himself, Mr. Spider. Today we're talking to Kristen, Melo, and Abigail Crosby with Preserve Pools, and I want to welcome everyone to the Pool Nation Live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and trading in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast, the Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, Blu-ray XL, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack, and Heritage Pool Supply. We want to thank them for their continued support. Mr. Zacharias himself out of the jungle. Good morning. How you doing?
I am actually doing great. It was, I went on my trip last week and I'm back to work, and it was really nice to just kind of get out of the city and get a refresher. So I'm feeling fired up, and it's amazing what just a simple break like that will do for you. I'm feeling re-energized, motivated, like working on a bunch of stuff. So I'm doing well.
So when is the episode of Naked and Afraid coming out? Do we know that part yet? Like, are the producers kind of in that conversation or not yet?
I think they canned my episode. They weren't happy with it. So
you were just too boring.
Yeah.
Mr. Flawless, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Doing well. I'm doing well. I was very interested in learning about the details of Zach's little escapade that he took off last week, but unfortunately he's being very private about it. And I got to say, I'm a little disappointed, brother, that you haven't kind of spilt the tea on what really went on out there, because what you told us was going to happen and what you really did out there, we know are two different things. But the truth will come out eventually. Where did you go again? You went out you said it was Idaho, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Idaho. And were you hunting? Is that what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch anything?
Did I catch anything?
Yeah.
He's like,
Did you shoot? I mean, what's the correct term? Did you?
We didn't get anything. We got into some elk though. It was pretty intense. It was exciting, but where we hunt is super remote. And it's really like hard terrain to hunt in, so we just couldn't get close enough.
Now, well, I know you do a different type of hunting, right? It's not the traditional with rifles. You actually, it's hand combat. You actually,
yeah,
it's like primal. Yeah, primal hunting, I think is what it was called, right? Where you actually
and they eat the liver.
Yeah, you stake out. You jump in trees. You jump on them as they come by.
That's why he won't talk about it, because it's like Fight Club.
Yeah.
You know, Naked and Afraid doesn't talk about Naked and Afraid.
That's what he couldn't get close enough.
Unwritten rules. Your rule number 1, you're not allowed to talk about it.
Right?
Don't talk about hunting camp.
Well, it's funny because last year, when Zach went on his trip, he sent us a bunch of photos, right, and pictures of him out there. And this year, he sent absolutely nothing. And I don't know if it was because we were having a good time with him when he sent us those photos, and it allowed our imaginations to run a little wild and call him out on some of the things we saw out there. But this year, you did a very good job of kind of keeping it under wraps, and you got me intrigued, brother. So I'm gonna be doing some investigation, trying to figure out exactly what went on in the woods out there for the last week, because I do notice the difference. You have this huge smile on your face. You're like glowing, you know. I think you and I need to.
John, I think they get in that little house hut thing that they have, and they don't actually go out. They just stay on their cell phones the whole time and all that kind of stuff. And then they come back telling these stories about hunting,
right?
Because he's never caught anything. He's never not even fish. So I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna have to send the evidence out.
You got to send it out, and you got to tell me, because I might
go hunting.
Go hunting, because if
you
get rejuvenated like that, brother, I need it.
You won't last 2 minutes in the wilderness. What are you talking about?
I love the part, but I won't. It's not.
2 minutes into it, he's like, "I'm out. See ya. Yeah. This is not for me."
It's a little weird being out of cell service like that, because it's like you have zero contact with family, with work. You don't even have the option to like check in. So I don't know if you ever watch Alone or anything, but they start mentally breaking down after a few days out there, and it's tough. It starts to get to you. You have to like redirect your focus off of what's going on out back at home and everything.
That's awesome. Mr. Spider, how you doing? We are in studio today. How you doing?
It's a 2 thumbs up kind of day.
It's a 2 thumbs up kind of day. I like that. And hey, Spider, you ready for Vegas?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. I was just showing Spider the space that we're going to be at. So John, he did say be very cautious because he goes wild after a couple drinks. So he said, you guys are going to have to assign somebody to keep an eye on me as I get close to the bar. He goes,
oh boy.
Because he goes, this might be the demise of Pool Nation.
You can disassociate if you want. Like, I don't know that guy.
And then all he goes is, I'm Spider. And then everybody just, there's the association. So anyways, Kristen, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. 2 years since we were last in Dallas. I can't believe it's been 2 years already, and it's gone so fast, but I love it. I love Dallas. It's really nice. I like coming here.
And time flies, right?
It sure does. It's been a quick 2 years.
Yeah.
Quick 2 years. We went by the Omni last night, had dinner in the Bob's restaurant underneath.
The steakhouse.
The steakhouse. Oh, man.
That was a good one.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So she got a real good taste of Texas steak last night.
Nice.
Yep.
I love how small the menu is there. Like,
right?
Everything on it is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because, like I was trying to tell her the last time we went, Plico paid for the meal. So we had a spread. I was trying to tell her, okay, well, this is good, but we're probably not going to finish our meal if we get that. So just go with these couple things. We still didn't eat our meal by the time everything came out. You get to the table, they've got peppers and pickles on the table. It's like, it was just awesome.
Did you guys get their famous carrots?
I actually ate my carrot for breakfast.
Isn't that amazing?
I did.
It was so good.
It's so good.
It looks so weird, but you try it and it's like, oh my God.
It's like a Bugs Bunny carrot sitting on the table.
Huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what they do to those carrots.
Yeah. Hey, John,
I'm slightly offended. Right
on the rating 1 to 5, John, what was Bob's? Because we've been there, John.
Oh, we have? Okay, because I was going to say I'm slightly offended because I don't think we've been there.
So, John, remember when we did the first Pool Nation Awards in Dallas? and Dennis took us out to dinner at that steakhouse? And we were all there? That's Bob's right there. Remember the big carrot? You had half of the cow.
Yeah, but not Bob's in Texas.
Yeah,
that was Bob's in Texas.
Yeah, that was.
We did the Pool Nation. We did the Pool Nation Awards in Texas.
In Dallas, the first year. Remember?
Did we?
Man, how time flies for you, buddy.
Oh yes, yes, the international show.
Yeah, because
wow,
it was the
I'm
same.
Getting old, man.
Yeah, it was the same year that I won the Plico Award, and you guys did the Pool Nation Awards for the first time.
Yes. Okay, now I remember. Okay, now, see, I was actually getting irritated listening to the story about the steakhouse and us not having a chance to be there, but silly me, my old age, I will take that back. And yes, I do remember it. It was very good. We ran up quite the bill for Dennis that night.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see how he had to explain that expense account.
Thanks,
Right?
Dennis. Well, you know it's easy because when they say they're with me, right, they all understand, right?
Exactly.
It's like you eat, and we try to explain that to everybody so that they know in advance when you come to eat with John. It's like John will sit at the table and there'll be like 3 appetizers. Most people will go, oh, well, let me pick one out of the 3. John's like, no, bring all 3. And there'll be 2 entrees. He's like, I'll take this and I'll take, and then always the servers are like, they're like looking at John like, are you serious? And we're like, just keep it coming.
I get it though. I get it. It might be the only time you go there. Why not try everything they have to offer?
Yeah. But the thing is with John is it doesn't matter where you go. That's what he does.
He's ate there 4 times.
Yeah.
He's still gonna do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Abby, good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
I'm excited to be in Dallas for the first time.
Yeah.
hmm
So,
Yeah.
and you liked dinner last night? It was
Legit.
legit.
I don't really care for carrots, and that was the best carrot I've ever ate. It was so good. The steak, I was like, I'm gonna try to finish this. No, the steak won for sure. I
Yeah.
was like, no, I can't do it. But it's been fun so far.
Good. Well, we're excited that you came out. So, for everybody listening, excuse me, Kristen was nominated for Trailblazer Woman of the Year. And then it so happens that Abby got nominated for Pool Girl of the Year. And so Kristen was so awesome, John and Zach, that she's obviously the boss. Her husband was supposed to come with her. And she axed the husband and said, you're not coming. Abby's coming because she's been nominated for Pool Girl of the Year.
Booted.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then she brought her out, which she is absolutely amazing. Excited to tell your story. So anyways, there's some housekeeping notes I got to get through. But before I do that, I want to give a couple shout outs because I've been already off the messages over here. So Christina, good morning. Janie, good morning. Kevin, Rick Roberts, what's going on? One Pool Guy. Tabitha, good morning. Let's see here. Jeanette is on here. Big shout out. Mr. Corey Holland. What's going on? How is that big pond that you got going out there? Is that finished yet? And Maria, good morning. So anyways, big shout out to everybody out there that's listening. Let me get through some of these housekeeping notes because we've got a great podcast in store for everybody today. So for everybody listening, the boot camp that we're going to be doing that November 12th and 13th. I was out in Vegas on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I went out and I took a look at all the meeting space for the rooms. I'm sure John was sick of me because I called him like 300 times and sent them 465 videos and 3,000 pictures. I think he just, at one point, it said he left the chat room because he was just tired of it. So, but we did that. We kind of went over to where we're going to have the awards. And then everybody that is listening, you can go to our Instagram page and you can see where we're going to have the after party. And I can tell you this, and I know it sounds corny. My kids make fun of me. They keep saying, Dad, stop using the word epic. But it is going to be so freaking cool. The views from that room of the entire Vegas Strip is just absolutely amazing. The space is absolutely amazing. And then this year, they're also doing a welcome party. John, Zach, we're definitely going to have to be at. They're going to do it at the Conrad Hotel, and they're going to do it in the area where they have all their private pool parties. They're going to have mermaids swimming in the pools. They're going to have all kinds of bars and music and all that. So it's going to be super cool. So anyways, we're going to be doing the boot camp on the 12th of November and the 13th. Registration is open. You can go to poolnation.com. You'll see a button that says boot camp. Click on it. You can register directly from there. Or you can register at the show, and when you go in and you use the code POOLNATION in all caps to get an expo pass, it'll ask you if you want to take that specialty education. You can sign up. It's completely free. We're going to be doing a couple classes that Abby's going to, and Kristen is going to as well, and that is pump and ozone installation and programming with Aquastar, automation installation and programming with Hayward, heater installation and troubleshooting with Raypack, and salt system installation and troubleshooting with Hayward. And then on Monday, we're going to be doing water chemistry with Terry Arco. We're going to be doing managing salt system with David Jones, ozone systems with Steve Barnes, next level water chemistry with Alicia Stevens, special water care. I can't speak with this thing on enzymes and phosphates with Jamie Novak. So Get out there, register. I think we have a couple spots left, but it is going to be a great time on that Sunday. So get out there, register, and we want to give a big, huge shout out to all of our sponsors. And by the way, we have a couple new sponsors, John, Zach. We have Lamont. We have the APSP from San Diego, and the newest sponsor for the Pool Nation Awards. I got an email yesterday. Hayward Pool Products is going to be sponsoring the awards as well. So they stepped it up. So thank you so much, Hayward. We appreciate all of the support out there for the Pool Pros. So there's the housekeeping notes. I tried to keep it short. Was that short enough?
Was that? Mm-hmm.
That was perfect?
Yeah, it was epic.
Okay, it was epic.
Yes.
You didn't drop the news that they actually asked John to be one of the mermaids at the welcome party.
We gotta go.
Nobody's going then. Dude. Nobody's gonna go, dude. We're all gonna run.
No, John is supposed to be. What's the name of in the Little Mermaid? The dad? What is he?
King Triton.
King Triton. John's gonna be King Triton, but he's gonna be with the little loincloth type thing and with a big spear like Aquaman type look right there.
Wow. All right, moving on.
So anyways, let's jump into the podcast because we've got a lot of great questions that we have for you ladies. So Kristen, I'm going to start with you. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've got two kids, 16 and 12. My son's 16, Kevin, and my daughter's Courtney. She's 12. The 12-year-old ex 16. So I basically have two teenagers. I was a stay-at-home mom for probably about 10 years before I went through my divorce, ended up hurting my back. It was a whole thing before I actually got started into the pool industry. When I was going through my injury and all that kind of stuff, my husband was working multiple jobs, wanted to kind of do something to contribute. And my parents have owned businesses for years and years and years. So I kind of always watched my dad, and learned a lot from him, ran companies with him, beauty salons, hardware stores, all different kinds of things. And so my husband said, well, why don't we just start a pool company? And so I did, got online, and by the next day I had the EIN, I had everything going, and it just went from there. But I didn't realize how intricate this industry is. So there's been a lot of learning along the way, but that's pretty much how I got into the industry and my background. I very rarely see my children. I've been so busy. My parents help out tremendously a lot. But I'm pretty boring. This is really all I do.
Pool girl at heart.
That's it. It's literally become what I do 24/7. So but I love it. I don't really vacation. I don't have hobbies. I used to surf. I used to be able to get out there, but I can't really do it anymore. So this is kind of taking the place of all of that.
Gotcha.
And, that's kind of crazy. It's just, you hear stories over and over and over again about how people get into the industry, and it's either you're a legacy, like you've been in it, your whole family's been in it forever, or you just somehow fall into it just out of the blue and out of the ordinary. And there's really no in between. And I sometimes think and try to figure out why that isn't, the case. And I think it's more of because, as a society in the past, you don't see the pool industry. It's kind of like in any really shape, way, or form other than, maybe the guy or the gal that comes to your backyard maybe once a week or whatever. And it's never really, it's kind of like a hidden gem in the world. But it's funny because the same thing happened to us, right? We just all of a sudden one day decided, hey, we're going to get into the pool industry, and we were the furthest from pool industry. That was like not even ever a topic ever, but it's funny. And then once it grabs you, you can see that it's just like, like someone like yourself to become so successful and to be where you are right now from just like a whim. Yeah. One day, hey, look, here I am. And the opportunities that this industry can provide for you are just pretty amazing. I don't know. I sit back and reflect on some of this stuff, and it's just crazy. Abby, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 23. I'm pretty boring as well. Just to be 23, most people are out partying and stuff, and I've been working ever since I was old enough to work. And I literally go to work. You can ask Kristen. I go to work and I come home. There's not much more than to me than that. I don't really know what else to.
I have a question for you. I have
Okay.
2 questions for you.
Okay.
So one, who is Ricky Roberts?
That is my stepdad.
All right.
Yeah.
Big shout out here
Yeah.
to Ricky Roberts. He's out here going, "Hey, Abby, baby."
Aw, I love him so much. He's probably out in the woods right now, like watching live, because he works in the logging woods.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's one of my biggest supporters.
That is absolutely awesome. So we want to give a big shout out to Ricky out there. So let me ask you, how did you get into the pool industry?
It was kind of. I actually worked 3 jobs, and I used to be a general manager for a restaurant, and I was working like 86 to 90 hours a week. And it was as soon as I graduated high school, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was just mentally exhausting. So I stopped working there, and then to be able to afford my bills, I had to work 3 jobs. And I remember posting like on Facebook, I was like, listen, I need a job, you guys, that's actually worth it. And that's going to pay my bills where I don't have to struggle. And I had this guy, shout out to Mike Brunson. He's amazing. He messaged me. He was like, hey, I got this really good opportunity. And I went with it. So that was so I quit one of my 3 jobs and I picked up, Preserve Pools. And I was working there, and then I was like, okay. It was very confusing, very new, especially from like going to managing a restaurant to the pool business. It wasn't something I was expecting to do. And he basically gave me the vision, and I did my research and everything like that. So I just decided to say, okay, well, screw those other 2 jobs. Like, I want to focus on this. And I did focus on it, even though it was a pay cut and I did have to struggle. And I had to go without the Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? Like, the extra stuff I had to go without to be able to, because I did see myself like getting a career in this. So I made that choice to take the leap, basically, and just stick with this. And it's treated me very well. So I have a great boss. Shout out to her.
So the question is, how did you hear about Preserve Pools and Kristen?
Yeah, so it was Mike. He actually worked for Kristen.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was like, hey, I have this really good opportunity for you.
Mhm.
And he messaged me, and I was like, okay, let's go with it. And then that day, I actually think it was like the next day, I met with Kristen. And it was actually to work in the retail store.
Mhm.
And I have experience with, running a store and all of that stuff. And then we came to terms with, okay, we can't run a retail store without you going into the field first. So.
And they turned you into a pool girl.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and then what about you, Kristen? How did you, and what made you decide to kind of go into the industry out of all the choices you had?
Well, my husband's been in the industry for 25 years, but he's worked for all different pool companies, commercial, residential. He worked in Tampa, Florida for a long time, where it's very different down there. They've all got screen enclosures, they can knock out 20 pools in a day. But he, when I divorced my ex-husband, him and I got married, he was working for both a residential and a commercial company up by us, had my back injury. He said, well, let's just start a pool company, get something going. And I figured I was just going to, kind of like I had done in the past with my father's companies, kind of do a behind the scenes thing, maybe, invoicing, that type of thing. When I started getting into what it actually takes to be a part of the pool industry and went out in the field with him and saw what he did out there, I was intrigued, and I was so interested in it. I started following him every day. I just was like his shadow. I stayed on his heels, and he would do, pump installs, motor, swaps. He would filter installs, whatever he was doing, and just his regular service too, plus the commercials, the, big equipment sets. And I was like, man, I had no idea what he did for a living. It's sad that our industries, with what we know and what we do, we're plumbers, we're electricians, we're hydraulic experts, that the guys are seen as just pool guys. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. So I started studying, and I started, trying to learn everything that I could, because we wanted to run the company different. The way to set yourself apart in an industry like this, where you do have, that type of, stigma going into it, is to find a way to set yourself apart. So I figured, well, let me see, all the different areas and aspects of this, so we can, figure out what everybody else isn't doing that we can do in order to put us at the top. And that was when I really started researching LSI chemistry and water balance, and how to make the surface of the pool and the equipment and, everything the water touches last as long as possible, instead of, constantly changing out gaskets, constantly changing out motors, etching of the plaster, all those kind of things. And it wasn't very long before I got in touch with Eric with Arenda, had him come down, do a couple of classes for us, and that was it. I took off like a rocket. I was reading manuals. If there's a manual out there, I've read it cover to cover probably 3, 4, 5 times. I went from that aspect of it to making sure that I could uphold warranties, because I realized that not only do I need to be able to, when we put a customer on service and we make a promise to them that I'm going to service your pool, I'm going to make sure that your chemistry's, perfect. But when I install a piece of equipment, I need to make sure that I can uphold that warranty as well. So that's when I started looking at the manufacturers and going to their seminars. At that time, 2018, 2019, we were still going out of town for seminars. So I'd have to wait for them to come to Charlotte or Columbia, South Carolina, and then, go there. When COVID hit and everything went online, that was like diamonds falling from the sky for me, because that opened me up to everything. And my husband would sit at night watching TV, and I would be taking classes, getting certifications online constantly, and I'm still doing it. So that's really how my husband calls it downloading the matrix. That's how I downloaded the matrix so quickly, was because it was really COVID and the way that the industry went online that opened me up to be able to download the matrix as quickly as I did. Then training employees coming in, I was able to teach them how to download the matrix the same way that I did and get them trained properly. And that's how I created this. So it's doing it the right way, not cutting corners, was really, really important to us from the beginning. Consistency, reliability, those type of things. But on top of that, customer service aspect was the education. And I've just really stuck with that. I make sure that my techs are educated, and I always make sure that I'm continuing my education, because if I expect it out of them, I should expect it out of me. And that's how I got to where I'm at in the industry.
So, Kristen, you talked about you guys started and you wanted to do things differently. Can you kind of just go into detail with what all you guys do at Preserve Pools? Tell us about your company. Do you have a focus on like a premium service or valet service? Like, what kind of explain to us what that looks like?
Yeah, so we started out doing, regular weekly maintenance service, which turned into, in the, off months, can we go bi-weekly because nobody's swimming in it? And at first, whatever the customer wanted, we did. Well, then I learned, through, classes and water chemistry, that cold water is very aggressive. The chemistry changes. And we still maintain weekly year-round. So then we changed that, and we went to, no, we service weekly year-round. That's the only way that we can uphold our quality. And we continue to keep the service route going and building the way that it is. I continue to uphold a high quality standard with my techs, making sure that I go behind them, and that quality standard's being upheld. We also do repairs. We do maintenance, new installs. I've got several builders that I work with that, from the long plumb up, I do full equipment installs. We do warranties. And we're getting into, with John Temple and Watershape University, I'm getting into doing replasters as well, because we've got a lot of corners being cut in our area, especially because there's not a lot of regulations in South Carolina for pool installs, pool builders, that type of thing. I do not want to be a pool builder. I do not want to dig holes. But as far as replasters go, somebody needs to get into that area and make sure that it's being done correctly. And that's kind of what we're leading into right now. But yeah, so that's what my company does. We really started out just service and maintenance. Within the first 3 months of actually being a company, we had 20 to 30 customers. My degree's in marketing and advertising. So I created marketing material immediately, and we got out there. And by probably, I'd say 9 months, we had over 100 customers. So we grew rapidly. The service company, by year 4, grossed over $1 million. And we've had 10, 11 employees at that point. And by next year, we'll probably be over 2 million. Of course, the repairs, the installs, that type of thing, helped to boost that. But the service company is technically our bread and butter.
You said you guys do a lot of warranty work. Who are some of the companies that you guys are a warranty station for?
We're mostly Hayward and Pentair in that area. You really don't see a lot of Jandy by us. We've got one builder that puts Jandy in. We can warranty for Jandy. Mike is our rep in my area. So, I do keep some constant contact with Mike. I see him at the shows, and maybe once a year I'll reach out to him and talk to him. But it's mostly Hayward and definitely Pentair. I call Don Burt's my better half. Him and I talk all the time. I love Don Burt's.
So
I love it because, you talked about when you first got into it, like it really being much more complex than what most people would assume, right? They just look at us and we're just the pool person. And it really is. There's like so many moving pieces to it, so many technical things we have to learn and study up on and get certified in. And I just think it's really cool that you guys have really just kind of encompassed it all in a short amount of time. And you got the retail, the service, the plaster, now warranty station. I don't think a lot of people truly appreciate like how much our industry has to offer and how many different things there are to get into. So I just think that's super cool.
It's huge. And that was something that I really was excited about when I started realizing how many different avenues there are to grasp out there. And one of the things that I did when we first started the company was I reached out to the other service companies, the bigger name service companies that were in our area, because I realized that with as many different avenues and, specialty areas, really, because we technically are a specialty contractor. My ex-husband works for Google. He cannot wire his panel. Like, he's called me over there multiple times because a relay's, he's had a bad relay, that kind of thing. He cannot wire his own panel. And he's been an electrician for Google for 20-something years. So we are a specialty tradesman. And once I started looking at all of the different aspects and all the different areas that we specialize in, I reached out to the other service companies and said, we're really honing in on chemistry. That's our specialty area. Startups, I do startups for a lot of the builders in the area, the 28-day, 3-month, that type of thing, new plaster startups, which is a nightmare. But that's a whole other story in itself. But, that type of work, if you guys need help, let me know. I want to work together in this industry. I don't want to be competition. There's plenty of pools to go around. We don't need to cut each other's throats. And, there was a situation that happened. I had gone out to a commercial pool, and there was a service team that was out at the pool when I went to go do the bid. And I said to the woman, I was like, there's a service company out here. And she was like, yeah. She goes, I was trying to get a better price. And I said, well, who are they? And she said, well, they're pool care pros. I said, I'm sorry, I don't bid against Daryl. And I left. Well, Daryl, the way that, I have the relationship with him, he does leak detections. I don't want to have anything to do with leak detections. And so, but he also calls on me all the time for, chemistry anomalies, startups, that type of thing. And when I left, I called him. I said, Daryl, I said, such and such, commercial pool is trying to get better pricing and, undercut your bid. I said, I just want to let you know, I just told her I don't bid against you. He said, you did what? I said, I told her I don't bid against you. And he was like, really? You did that? Yeah. So we've been great friends working together ever since. There's, another company, Scott Roundy. I can call on Scott at any point in time and say, hey, Scott, he's always got a guy downtown. There's always a guy downtown. And, hey, Scott, I can't get anybody down to such and such a pool. I've got something going on downtown. Can you throw one of your guys over there? Yeah, absolutely. He'll throw one of his guys over. But anytime he has a Pentair warranty, he calls me, Kristen, do you think you can get this part from Don? It's, an Airbnb. They've got guests staying there. I need it right away. And I run over and I put it in for him. And we're working together in that area. What's happened is that you've watched over the past 4 or 5 years, the margins have gone up because we're not undercutting each other's throats and bringing it down. We're bringing each other up, whether we realize it or not. That's what's happening, So it's nice knowing that when I'm in a pinch, I can rely on the other companies in the area and call on them when I'm in need. And when they're in a pinch, they can call on me. And that's what we've kind of created in our area. And I have no problem calling a lot of the companies out there. So that was another approach that we took in the very, very beginning. And I kind of got off topic, and I don't remember what the question was.
It's all good. Hey, I do have to tell you, we're going to take a break here in a second. So I do want to come back because, so just to let you know, every time that the parents and stuff jump on here, we always make a big deal because we think it's very cool, right?
I know her mother's on there.
I know they're hyping it up.
So I'm sure Karen is your mom?
That's Kristen's mom.
Oh, that's Kristen's
my mother.
mom.
She got on.
She got on.
Yay,
so
Mom!
she's saying proud of you, honey. And then Ricky said, wouldn't miss this for anything. And then Christina Benjamin, which is your mom, right?
My
I remember
mom.
sending the email.
Yep.
So proud of you, Abby. So big shout out to both of you.
I'm so proud of my mom for getting on.
So,
She's proud of you.
so super excited about that. Shout out to all of you people out there. Let's do this. Let's take a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we will continue.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We're talking to Kristen. We're talking to Abby. Abby and her fan club. That's what I'm going to call it. Abby and the fan club. So anyways, it's pretty awesome. Love having the parents jump on and give the shout out. So Mr. Matt Mann jumped on here. Want to give you a shout out, brother. Hey, the question is, Mr. Matt Mann, are you ready for the Pool Nation Awards? He is I think we promoted him, right, Zach, to VP. John, we promoted him to VP of security detail. Yes. So he is. What duties does that entail, John? Now that we kind of bumped him up to VP, he was a director. And John came to me and said, "Hey, he needs to be VP." So
yes, he needs to be VP. Well, it comes with the new set of gear as well, the body cam and holster and Kevlar vest and some other things. He's going to be total James Bond there at the awards.
Is he going to wear a white suit like James Bond? He kind of sharp like that, hair slicked back, and then just ready for action. You know it. So, who else from the boys are going up?
Bluff is going to go. Damien's going. Daniel's going. I was trying to get Howard to come, but he's in North Carolina, and that's quite the trek. Though I got to tell you about Howard. A little update. He left the industry in California, went over to North Carolina, and then somehow got back in the industry for a short period of time, but might be jumping back out. So it's kind of funny when we talk about, once you're in the pool industry, you can never leave it. And we were kind of teasing him and telling him that. And then about a year after he left, he jumped back into the industry shortly, which was a little refreshing to see our brother back into it. But he has some other dreams and aspirations that he's working on that I won't talk about the details, but wishing him luck in his new journey out there. So those are the guys that are definitely going to be showing up for sure at the show.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Mr. Jay Brakefield, what's going on? Good morning, brother. Hey, we need to connect, man. I know that you've probably been slammed over the summer and we haven't been able to connect, but let's connect. Jay's close to me. He's about 30 minutes away, so we kind of get together every once in a while. So, Kristen, I'm going to put you a little bit in the hot seat, right? And Abby, I want you to pay attention. because this question is for you, Abby, for you to find out, right? So I'll give you the recording of this podcast based on what she answers.
Okay.
But obviously you have Abby, and I absolutely love Abby. I mean, she is a hard worker to really give up all those jobs to see the vision into the pool industry, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And it's funny because when you started kind of through the interview process, I think a lot of it was like, she's a little bit too good to be true. That was kind of a little bit of the mindset, right?
It really was. And I kind of, it was,
here's the question where I'm going to put her on the hot seat. Right?
Oh yeah.
You ready, Abby? I'm going to pitch it perfect for you,
I'm
right?
more than ready.
So tell us about Abby and how you brought her onto the team and what you think about Abby.
She's sarcastic. Abby, when Abby first came to me, she was like I said, she came to us through Mike Brunson, and Mike Brunson was too good to be true. So when Abby came, it was like lightning doesn't strike twice in the same spot. There's no way this girl is this good to be true. And it was either that, she was a really good BSer, or she actually was that good to be true. So I figured, all right, well, let's see what this girl can do. And I was pretty rough on her in the beginning. I really was. And I would test her. I'd challenge her, and she'd pull through. So she, at first, she's the only employee that I've ever had that asked to stay in training. Like literally said to me, I don't want to come out of training. I'm not ready. Okay. Scored the highest out of anybody that I've ever had on her national certification for the pool chemistry, and was really impressed with her. Like, all right, but can she run a retail store? She can run a retail store. And I was like, I can't even get my code to go into the screen at the retail store. I can't run the retail store. She can run the retail store. So I figured, all right, well, let me get out in the field with her and, give her some challenging situations. So went out with her and kind of, brought up a couple scenarios. What would you do? She was a one and done, where if a situation came up, I could give her what she needed to do, how to resolve it, and I would never have to tell her again. And it was amazing to, even over the phone, I could troubleshoot something with her. And you know how you get that when you walk into a backyard and the pool doesn't have the right flow and the motor's making that sound, and you're like, uh-oh. She had that really, really early. And I didn't even have it that early, and she would say to me, something's wrong and I don't know what it is. Well, what are you seeing? Well, the water doesn't look like it's moving right, and she would get really nervous, and I'd be like, okay, well, we'll walk through it. And so, we'd start at, the beginning, the suction walk. I'd walk her through all the troubles, even though if I already knew where it was, I'd still walk her through all of the steps. But when she found it, she'd retain that, and it could be 6 months later before she ran into that issue again. I didn't have to worry about it because she had it. She retained it. So I figured, all right, well, let me bring her out on some repairs. She's amazing. Like I drew her a picture when I was in Vegas.
You were at Disney World.
I was in Disney World. That's where it was. I was able to give this girl the phones. She had only, how long were you with you were only with the company like a year, right?
Yeah, it was like a year.
I was able to hand my phones, my books, everything over to her. I'm like, here's my company. She had only been with us for a year. She was that far along. And we had an equipment set that we needed to get in for a builder. They had bumped their plaster date up, and I'm like, great. I decided to take a vacation with my kids. Fantastic. First one I had taken in 5 years. And I drew her a picture. I'm not the best at this. I don't do AutoCAD. I don't have, any of that. Never even really seen many of these blueprints. I know how to read blueprints. Can't draw them. And so she went by my sketch and from Long Plumb, plumbed in a full equipment set, and it was perfect. And when I say mint perfect, I mean mint perfect. I couldn't believe it. And it just, she blows my mind. Every challenge that I put in front of her, she knocks it out of the park. So if I would have had the opportunity that this girl has in front of her at her age and had the capabilities that she has, like, she doesn't know what she has in front of her. She blows my mind. So, especially with us starting to get into things like, these replasters and that kind of stuff, I'm really excited to see what she's going to have in store for me, because this girl's dangerous.
So there you go. There you go, Abby.
Well, I'm not fired, so.
Permission to send the recording now.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
I got a question, and Abby, this is for you. And we didn't talk about this question, so if you need to think about it for a second and come back to it, but this is something that is, I'm very interested in understanding your perspective or your journey as a woman getting into the pool industry. Us, we are true believers in having women in our industry and understanding the importance and what they can bring to the table above and beyond what some guys can do, and that we also understand that this is a male-dominated industry, and to say anything other than that, would be a little foolish. Though I don't think that that's where we should be, right? And our goal is to make this a more of an inclusive environment instead of exclusive, like it's been the good old boys club in the past. And I might be a little biased myself because my wife, my life, my love, she's in it herself, and she's gone through some trials and tribulations. And she was with me starting our company from the very beginning, and she was set with some very different struggles, or that as a man I didn't have. You obviously, as a woman getting into this industry, you've had a different type of perspective, and I say because you are working for a woman-ran business, right, in the pool industry. How has that journey been, and have you had any difficulties, or have you felt where you were, I don't know what the right word is, but some unnecessary struggles that you had to accomplish because you were a woman dealing with other men, in the industry, because maybe they didn't take you seriously, or they thought, hey, you're a woman, or whatever it may be, some of those stereotypes and BS that unfortunately some women have to go through. Was your perspective a little bit different because you had Kristen as a boss? And would it have been a little bit different, do you think, for yourself if it wasn't that way, and maybe it was a man that ran the company, or it was Kristen wasn't there? I just kind of want to understand how it was for you, because I think there's probably thousands of other Abbeys out there that we unfortunately haven't had the ability to bring on and into our industry, a superstar like yourself, because the stories that I've heard and your journey and what you've done and your accomplishments already are quite amazing. And if we can have and clone you across the nation, right? Yeah. And get more people like that, just imagine how much better we would be as an industry. And it's a tough question, right? And these are kind of taboo questions, and and I'm just trying to be real here, mm-hmm. and kind of get to it, because we truly want to figure this out so that we can have more Abbeys in our industry. So your frame of mind and your mind frame, what was your thoughts? Because I got to imagine it crossed your mind a little bit, or you were put into some certain situations, if you're going to the supply house or dealing with customers, or some other pricks in the industry that judged you for whatever reason. Just if you can kind of give us your insight on that, I think it would be helpful for everybody here and also for other women that are inspiring to be in the industry or currently are in the industry and going through some troubles.
Yeah, it was definitely great having Kristen as my mentor because, she was letting me know. But honestly, she never has used being a woman to her advantage at all. Like, I don't feel like she has, because she's like, "Oh, we're females, and so what?" Like, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, "Oh, we're females and we have to prove something." It wasn't like that. It was just like, we still work, we still go out, we still do it. Um, and it's more so, I feel like the struggles were mainly for my age. That was the biggest thing. I did have a couple of customers
You
say,
can tell them the story that you brought up at dinner last night.
yeah, so I was actually talking with her last night and I was like, it takes a lot for me to gain respect for somebody. And I remember the exact moment I gained respect for Kristen, and I was at a customer's pool. I'm not going to say his name. He's no longer a customer. But he came outside and was like, "What do you think you're doing?" And it was literally like 8:30 at night. It was pitch black, and I had done like 23 pools that day. And I'm like, "Man, I'm just here to help you out," kind of thing. So he came outside. He was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Bro, I'm here to clean your pool." Like, and he was like, "I don't want a female doing my pool." And I looked at him and I said, "Okay." And I grabbed my stuff and I called Kristen and I was like, "Listen, you need a handle. Like, I can't. Like, I just left. I'm not going to be disrespected." And the initiative that she took, she asked me, "What is all of your certifications?" And I named every single one of them. And she texted and called this man and was like, "Do not ever disrespect my employee like this." And it was the fact that she stood up for me, basically, that I love, because a lot of bosses won't do that. And ever since then, she's just, I've gained that respect for her, and that a lot of people don't get from owners or their bosses. But like I said, I feel like the hardest thing is my age, for sure, because I go out to these big job sites and they're just like, "Oh, who's this little girl?" Like, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, hey, can we go ahead and plumb that in? Like, make sure, oh, that's not red pipe. What are you doing?" And I like correct them, and they kind of are like, "Oh, okay, let me back up some." And now I have respect, in the company, where customers call and they're like, "Hey, is Abby there?" Like, they want to talk to me. Or it definitely was a struggle at first getting comfortable to be able to stand up for myself, though, and just be like, "Listen, like, if you can't see my worth as your pool person, or you don't want to take my knowledge because of me being a female or my age, then I feel like that just tells me what type of person you are." And a lot of the times people don't take you can't expect somebody to be older than you and respect you, I feel like, more so with you being a female, because females are getting out there and they are being known. But you can't expect a 60-year-old person to look at a 23 and be like, "Okay, yeah, you're right." It's more so about the age for me than it is about being a female, I feel like. So,
Small hands do killer low voltage.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
right? Oh my God. My sausage fingers, every time I put in those IQ 904s.
And
Oh
the
my God.
touchpads. I've never had a problem with a touchpad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'll go out there with my eyelashes, my makeup done, and I'm still like, "Yep, got my boots on, I'm getting dirty." It doesn't matter. Like, I'm in it. There's not
That's
one
awesome.
uniform that I have that does not have glue, stains. I mean, seriously.
The picture that you took of me yesterday, I got glue all over my shirt. I'm like, could I have found a shirt that didn't have glue on it?
I'm like a female, but not a female, if that makes any sense. Like, I do very boyish things.
So, Abby, what is your role at Preserve Pools?
All of the things.
Yeah, that's basically, so there's nothing that I haven't probably done. The role that I do now is I am mainly in the retail store, which is, the typical 9 to 5, but I also handle all of the accounting, any of the accounting responsibilities. I answer all the phone calls for the customers and the employees. I still do jobs if I have to go out and do routes, and anything like that. I still do. It's whenever I'm needed, basically. Like, Kristen will call me. She'll be like, "We had 2 call outs. What do we do?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's like 26 pools. It's okay. I got it tomorrow." Like there's no, she doesn't have to worry about it. That's the thing. She doesn't. Like, I promise.
She handles my breakdowns.
Yeah, like, seriously, I do. I'm like, it's okay, Kristen. It's okay. She's like, because my typical days off are Sundays and Mondays, and Mondays is when like all hell breaks loose, and I'm like, it's okay.
Stroke prevention is her job title.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's okay. Just calm down. It's completely fine. I was like, we'll get it done.
I got one more question. Have you thought of California?
No.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, and other people have tried to poach her before, and it's not happening. She's loyal.
I have been poached many, many times, but my loyalty is with my love.
She's mine.
I love it. I love it.
I mean,
Just kidding.
I do like California, though. I've never been
But
there.
we do have a great relocation package that my company's offering.
We'll start a branch of Preserve Pools.
Right, there you go. All right, let's go for it.
but how cool is that? Because I think it's super important. And you talked about Kristen having your back as your mentor, your boss. And I think a lot of business owners or managers or bosses, just people in those positions, a lot of times they get afraid of the customer. There's that whole customer is always right type of thing. And I think it's super important as a leader that, we're standing up for our people when it's needed. And so I admire that a lot. And the cool thing is it shows, right? That loyalty that comes from it, knowing that you have a leader that has your back. I think that's super important. And a lot of people kind of miss the mark when it comes to that, because in my opinion, a customer that treats our team poorly, they're not a customer that we need to have.
Right,
so
right. Respect is everything, for sure, and loyalty. So if you respect me, I will be forever loyal to you.
My employees are a representative of me. They were trained by me. They're out there representing my company, and they're a branch of me. If you're going to disrespect them, you're disrespecting me. Therefore, there's plenty of pools to go around. I'll recommend another service company for you in the area. This way I can make sure that you're taken care of, but I'm not going to have you disrespect my employees.
Absolutely. Well, Kristen, I want to kind of touch on something that you talked about earlier, and you mentioned working with other pool companies in your area. And I think this is something that a lot of business owners struggle with. And I wanted to ask if you could talk a little bit about maybe your thoughts on why it's better to work with each other or even refer to each other rather than work against each other.
It creates just such a better atmosphere overall, and you're not constantly, like, for example, right now, we've got this kid that's trying to break into the industry. He's brand new out there. I actually dealt with a call this morning. We lost a customer because this kid is going around taking our estimates and our bids in Daniel Island and doing equipment installs at cost to try to get customers to build a route. He's a one-poler, but that's what he's out there doing, and that's not how we roll. By us doing things the way that we do and working the way that we do in our area, we've kind of eliminated that. So you kind of get, every so often you'll get one that'll kind of come in and try and undercut us, but they fail. They can't. What they're doing by undercutting, they can't keep a business going.
It's not sustainable.
It's just not sustainable. They
sustainable.
can't. There's no way that they can have insurance. There's no way that they can, have workman's comp. All of the things that go along with being a properly run company and still make a profit doing what they're doing. It just can't happen. So by, us working together like that, it's created such an environment. We had one of my builders. My builder's building a pool in his own backyard. We no sooner fill it, as it's filling, the water level's dropping, filling, dropping, filling, dropping, filling, dropping. And I'm looking at my tech that's out there with me, and I'm like, this is bad. This is really, really bad. From the deep end all the way up the back wall, the shotcrete was cracked. I had Daryl with Pool Care Pros out there immediately that day. I had Heritage out there that day. I had Tiago with Aquatica, his Shot Creek company, out there that day. Why? Because I make one phone call and these companies are there. It's by working together like that, knowing that, yeah, they're going to get paid for the, being out there. They're going to get paid for their time. They're going to get, compensated. But if they ever needed me in a similar situation, all they have to do is make that phone call. I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to be there for them the same way that they were for me. We're not losing pools. We're not losing money. If anything, we're making more money because we all have more satisfied customers in the long run. I've called the other companies before and said, FYI, I just left one of your pools. They told me that, you're servicing, or I'll see one of their stickers in the panel. Hey, I need to let you know this address is looking for other service. Get on your techs. Because we're working together. We're all in the same game. And if we can have quality pool companies out there, it's going to eliminate the bottom feeders, the people that are out there just trying to throw a net in the back of their truck and undercut the industry. If the quality companies are out there creating a standard, and that's what we need to do, is create a standard, a quality standard across the service industry.
So, Kristen, you were nominated for a Trailblazer Woman of the Year. Can you talk a little bit about that? And how did you find out? And
I found out when I went to go make sure that Abby got the nomination for Pool Girl, because I'm the one that nominated her for Pool Girl. And then I said I was on there for Trailblazer because Abby nominated me for Trailblazer. And I'm up against some amazing women. So I thank you. Because that was very, very sweet. But I'm up against some amazing women. It's a very honorable award, and I'm grateful to be even up there with my face next to these women because it's an honor.
That's awesome. And by the way, that story, I thought it was awesome because it was like, you guys were talking and Abby nominated you and you nominated Abby and neither one of you knew. And then you were both surprised. It was like, oh,
I said to you, I was like, did I nominate me? Who nominated me?
It was me.
That's awesome. Did our boy, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
No. So like Kristen was saying, you were nominated for Pool Girl of the Year. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Were you surprised to be nominated?
I was surprised. I actually found out because she sent me a link through Messenger on Facebook. It was super late. It was after the live feed and everything. And all she said was, check your Messenger. I was like, oh, okay, she's probably sending me another meme. And
I do that.
Yeah, she does. And it was like 11:30 at night, and I was so excited. I jumped out of bed. I sent it to my mom. I was so excited just because I was telling her, I was like, it's not even about winning for me at all. It's just about being nominated and being, recognized. And then I found out, I could tell it was her just by the little paragraph.
And her mother hasn't slept since.
That's so cool.
I'm grateful for everybody for Kristen for nominating me for sure. And I'm just excited to even, get out there and meet these people and to meet the females that I'm going up against and learn new things and see where this goes for me.
Now both of you are going up to the awards, right?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you guys are going to be in the boot camp?
Yes.
Yeah. So
and the after party.
And the after party
with the mermaids and King Triton
and King Triton.
Wow,
John, you are it, brother. You are King Triton.
Yeah, she bought them during our 3 minutes.
Oh, that is awesome. So what's funny is obviously I've had the pleasure of spending the day with you guys yesterday and kind of getting your story. Which, by the way, I do have to apologize, John. You are not going to believe what happened. I think I'm going to have to take half of the fault for that. So we scheduled some time to go meet up for breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take them for breakfast to Norma's Cafe, right, in Frisco. What a nice area, And so I show up. So Kristen sends me a message. It's like, hey, we were here early. And I'm like, all right, I'll pack my bag. I'll head out. I'm like,
And I'm never early.
15 minutes. I'm like 15 minutes away. So all of a sudden I show up and I start walking into the place like I own the place, and the girl's looking at me like, can I help you? And I'm like, oh, I'm just here to, meet some people. And I kind of start walking in, and she's like following me, like, and
They
I
were
look,
closed?
no, I look over to the left and there's nobody there. I look over to the right and there's only like one or two couples. And she's like, are you sure you're supposed to meet somebody here? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to meet here for breakfast. They got to be here. So I'm thinking, oh, they went outside and they walked around or they did something. And the girl goes, we have another location that's like 7 minutes away. They're probably over there. So I pick up the phone and I call Kristen. And
There's a third location.
and she's like, there's a third location.
Which is 35 minutes away.
Oh boy.
We had been waiting for like an hour
We had
and a
been there
half already.
because I was actually early for once in my life.
And then, John, I noticed that they're in Dallas, and panic sets in, right? Because some parts of Dallas are great. And
It's in Oak Cliff, too.
Was it Oak Cliff?
Yeah, Norma's is.
Is 1123 something like that, Davis Road or something like that? So anyway, so my first panic is, where are they?
They're going to die.
Right? I don't know what part of Dallas that is. So I start freaking out, and they're like, oh, we'll just take an Uber. And I'm like, you're going to stay right where you are is what you're going to do. You're going to stay inside the restaurant, and you're not going to move. And I'm like busting out my phone, and I'm trying to figure out where in Dallas they are. And I jump out, and like you're saying, it's down in Oak Cliff. So it's a really nice area. The only problem is, my question to you two is, kind of, what did you think about the location? Because I'm going to tell John about here because he's a foodie right after. What did you guys think about the location for the Norma's Cafe?
Oh, the eggs were great.
The location.
No, it was a nice location. I thought it was fine. When he was like, don't move, I was like, why?
Does he know my initial thought was, he doesn't know where I'm from. That's the problem.
That's what she said. She's like, does he know where we're from?
Like, I'm from Walterboro,
There was
South
an active
Carolina.
shooter in Walterboro
Yeah,
the other day. We're like, what is
we
he
have a
worried
higher
about?
crime rate than some states. So.
You have to forgive Edgar if he drives anywhere and there's like a shopping cart not in like
Human trafficking.
or you know what I mean, or there's a little bit of graffiti on the side of a truck, all of a sudden it's like, everybody put your seatbelts on, roll your windows up,
You're not wrong in that area, but Oak Cliff is so big, though. There's nice parts and there's not nice parts, but those can be like a block away from
That's
each
how
other.
Charleston is too. You make one wrong turn and you go from multi-million-dollar
and
houses
then you end up in
to the
Walterboro.
slums. Right. but that, yeah, I get it.
So obviously I was in a panic. But anyway, so it was a nice area, that part where Spider, that was a nice area. But then I got in, John, in the Norma's Cafe. Spider, is that the original one?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Because, John, since they first opened it, they haven't changed anything inside.
Nope. I think there's coffee stains on the wall from like the 40s or something,
Well,
yeah.
My thought was the food's got to be really good.
Yeah,
the
that's
place is kind of slummy, but
it comes out. It was slummy.
But I figured, well, maybe it's been here since the 40s. So, because it had like pictures of Elvis on the wall and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, it's old. So, but the food's got to be good. Kind of smelled like a urinal, but it was all right.
That's about right.
My sandwich was good. So,
yeah. There were no bugs. So it was okay.
That we saw.
And let me tell you, John's making fun of me. But if we would have walked in through the door and Janie is walking in front of John, and so they have the two double doors. So the first set, and you open it. As soon as John would have seen and opened the door to the second one, he would have grabbed Janie by the back of the sweater and just pulled her out and turned around to me and go, we're leaving now. Like, this is not happening.
Look, you make me out to be some like prissy guy.
No, because it looks sketchy.
I know. I'm hood. I am definitely hood, but I'm blessed now in my life where I have options, right? And
Your china cabinet says how hood you are.
That's perfect.
Oh,
Wow.
shots fired!
Wow.
Damn! Oh.
And the plant.
And the silt plant.
I like you. Yes.
West Coast, son.
Yes, exactly. That is my lovely wife who decorates. I have no control over that, nor do I want any control over it.
I don't know, bro. You put together.
Oh, Zach, be quiet.
I was waiting.
In on this now. Quiet, Zach. I can't have all of you on me. Just kidding.
Oh, shots
Awesome.
fired. Shots fired. So, anyways, but it ended up being okay. So I picked him up, took them back. We went to Maker's Gym, and then we went to Summer Moon. What did you think of Summer Moon?
Summer Moon was good.
Yeah.
Like
really
Summer
good.
Moon.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Very nice.
you don't seem like much of a coffee person, but Abby does seem like she's a big coffee person.
There's a different side of me that comes out if I have too much coffee. You wouldn't. I start to climb the walls. I get.
Like a crackhead.
Yeah,
I am anyway.
Literally. When
I'm
she's
very
like,
high strung anyway, so if I have too much coffee, you don't want to know me.
yeah, when she texts me and she's like, "Hey, on the way, can you stop and grab coffee?" I'm like, "Oh man,
It's one of those days.
oh man, I gotta get there fast and in a hurry." Like,
Yeah.
I got to.
Yeah, so I try not to drink too much. I'm ADD anyway, so it's bad.
That is awesome. So, hey, guys and ladies, let's do this. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, I want to get your final thoughts.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation live podcast. We are talking to Abby.
Talking to me?
Just Abby.
No problem.
Kristen left. Kristen is no longer here on the podcast, guys. Kristen had to leave. She had to go take some phone calls for the pool business. I'm kidding. Abby's looking at me like
Don't
what?
do this
What?
to me,
Abby,
please.
John, Abby's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? I see Kristen
I'm like,
sitting right
she's
there.
right here.
She's all like, what did you guys kind of figure out that they're going to do to me? So, but we are talking to Abby. We're talking to Kristen. Yes, Kristen is here. So, if I sit here and I just look at John won't say anything until I pretend that you're frozen, John. So, anyways, normally we do final thoughts. Mr. Zacharias, let me get your final thoughts.
So you guys aren't going to believe this one. I think it was the last time I was on, someone started knocking on my door while we were in the middle of a podcast. It just happened again. That's why I jumped off and my camera went black. And I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to Aubrey and be like, I need you to defend my office. I think she was in the warehouse, and it's like, what are the odds that we get like barely any walk-in traffic and someone's going to come in and then hear me talk and start banging on the door. But yeah, so big thank you to you ladies for coming on today and sharing your stories. I love hearing it. And I love hearing that, like leadership is something that I'm constantly trying to improve on. And I just love hearing about, how Kristen had your back against that customer and just hearing things like that. And it helps validate what, I'm trying to do here. So again, thank you for coming on. I'm super excited to be going to the awards here in a few weeks, and that we're all going to get together and hang out, and we talk about it all the time. And there's just something amazing about that night and all getting in that room together and getting dressed up and the networking that goes on, because it really is just about your network and the relationships that you build. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, I was sweating before the podcast, watching a video of the awards from last year, just going, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Zach is going to MC this year.
No, that's not what it's. Zach's going to stand up there and welcome people to the stage.
Zach is the master of ceremony for the 2023 Pool Nation Awards. So.
Alicia is a master of ceremony. Zach is just a talking head. So,
John and I have already figured it out, and so when we put you on stage, we are going to announce you as the master of ceremonies. And what's that, Spider? Oh, Spider's saying that.
I got your back.
Spider's saying
boring master of ceremony to walk the planet.
So, anyways, Mr. Flawless, final thoughts.
Just echo what Zach said. I thoroughly enjoyed this podcast. I want to thank you ladies for taking the time out of your busy schedule to fly out to Texas, and to have to deal with Edgar for the past couple days. We know that, trust me, we know for sure that can be a challenge sometimes. But again, thank you so much, taking time away from your business, from your families, the money it took for you guys to get out here, all that. It's much appreciated that you would come out here and do that. And sometimes it seems like, you're out here, you're doing a podcast, and are people really listening? But I promise you, there are people listening, and there will be more in the future that will listen to your story and find it inspiring, and it will help. Even if it just helps one other person down the road, it'll help create a better industry. And that's what we're all trying to do. And I think that's the main theme from especially what you were talking about, Kristen. And it's like music to my ears, because we should be a family, and we should be working together, not against each other. And that is the only way we can move mountains, right? We can't be pushing and pulling from different directions and thinking and only looking after ourselves, because at the end of the day, it takes a village, right? And I believe that's what we are. And people like you and people like Abby in our industry are exactly what we need more of. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Edgar, Zach, and myself are very grateful for you guys taking the time to do that. And we look forward to seeing you in Vegas and seeing if you guys win. That'd be pretty awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys having us on, giving us, the opportunity to be here, even in the first place, is just an honor. I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful, and really appreciate you guys having us. And he's not that bad. He's really not. I enjoyed my time with Edgar.
See, John?
He's just fun to pick on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to create a shirt. What is it? What's your saying, John?
You just need a bullseye.
I'm an acquired taste. Is that what
you
you
are?
say?
You are.
No,
an acquired taste.
you, not me. You.
I am an acquired taste.
Yeah, that's
sure.
what I'm saying. What's your shirt saying? I'm an acquired taste.
I'm an acquired taste. Yeah. No mermaids.
No.
That's right, King Triton.
Yes.
So I want to thank you guys for coming out, and just like Zach and John were saying, I think one of the things that people don't understand is it takes time, right? And you guys have left your business, right? You took the time to travel. It takes time, money, effort to come out here, but I just love hanging out with you guys. I love listening to both of your stories. Just like Zach was saying, Kristen, I just love the fact that you back your people, and it's like you have to treat my people how you're going to treat me, because it does exactly what it did to Abby, right? Abby now feels like she's motivated. She's got your back, because she knows that when she goes out there and she's grinding and she's doing 25 pools, which is not easy, you're going to have her back no matter what. And I think that's part of the equation that a lot of the companies are missing. They're missing the part that sometimes you do have to drop 10 pools to be able to motivate your employees, right? If you have crappy pools and you're telling a pool guy or a pool girl, get out there, do 25 pools, that's one of your pools, it's trashed, it's all that, how do you keep them motivated? How do you keep them with you? How do you keep them loyal? And a lot of the things that you do are at the core of that. So, we had a conversation. I know that, for you, it's really about, changing the industry by working together. It was something that you repeated lots and lots of times. And I love that you do that out in the area that you're at, because that's kind of what, like John was saying, that's kind of what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to work together in order to be able to elevate the industry. And so when we get to meet people like you that are doing that exact same thing, we're super excited. And then Abby, just to let you know, you're a pretty badass. Just to let you know, we are huge fans of both of you. I'm glad that you came out, and that the husband got axed and he couldn't come out, because we got to hear Abby's story. I do want to tell you, Abby, that even on here, she's awesome. We're big fans. I said to your mom that you're awesome, that we're big fans of yours. And then Janie was saying, I like to hear other women's stories, right? And I think that's important for the industry. And then Ricky said, sorry, but when they made Abby, they broke the mold. And then Karen was saying, Dad's saying that he's proud of his little girl. So anyways, Christina saying, thank you, fellas, for allowing Kristen and Abby to share their stories. And they're pretty badass stories. We're just excited that we were able to share them. And so thank you for coming. Everybody listening, next Wednesday, John and I are going to be talking to the pool guys that have been nominated for the Pool Guy of the Year on the Instagram Live. So join us live next Wednesday. Everybody have a great weekend. We will catch everybody on the other side. Zach, John, as usual, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on. I know that today was a little bit later for John, and he's got a whole bunch of things that he's got to get out there and do. And I'm on my way to OU, so I'm sure I'll call you guys and bore you with my 20-minute conversations. So have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.